We have a man down. We need backup. 911, what's your emergency?
What's up, y'all? It's your host, Destiny. Welcome back to The Real Shift After the Call. If this is your first time tuning in, I highly recommend you go back and watch episodes 1 and 2 so you can see how these episodes correlate with each other. In episodes 1 and 2, I talked about losing my battle buddy in basic training, getting diagnosed with PTSD, failing psych tests, and finally landing my first job as a cop. In episode 3, we're going to talk about the strength, resilience, and growth. Basically, how I went from being the black sheep to the motherfucking goat. With that being said, let's get started. I got sworn on April 21st, 2023. Now, coming to the agency, I didn't realize I would be the only female assigned to patrol. Don't get me wrong, there were other females there, but they weren't on patrol, so you got the jail, you got the courthouse, you got the detective division, you got the school. So I was like, you know what, all this stuff is cool. Maybe one day I could be a detective, or maybe I could go be, whatever. But I wanted to be in the field. So I decided to stay on patrol because I wanted to see like where these real shifts happen. Like I wanted to be in the action. I feel like everybody has this when they first become a cop, Everybody want to be known for the person that's charging the most felonies, that's writing the most tickets, that's stopping the most cars. I mean, just pretty much anything. Everybody want to be out there in the action. I want to get in that foot chase. I want to get in that car chase. I want to lock the most people up. Like everybody want to do all that. And so that's kind of how it was for me until I was like, I got so wrapped up into it that I forgot when I take my uniform off, I'm no longer Deputy Kirby. I'm Destiny, and I'm human. It's times where I might fall short. I might make a mistake. And these people out here are just people who may have made a mistake. You stop a car for an expired tag and it's, oh snap, I forgot. Like I really wasn't thinking, and I'm like, I didn't give a fuck. Like I didn't care. I still wrote them a ticket anyway. But then that's what I'm saying. Like I had to take accountability and realize like, how many times do I forget things? How many times do I fall short? How many times has it been a point in time where I might have really made an honest mistake? You feel what I'm saying? And I want somebody to give me that same grace. And it just made me think I had to start seeing people as human. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they tag expired, but it's people out here that's really going through some real life shit. And they just, the last thing on their mind is these fucking tags. You feel what I'm saying? So I just had to think and I had to realize like, why am I about to make a bad situation worse when I can just tell them, hey, you know what? I'm not going to write you a ticket today. I understand what you got going on. You ride safe. I always tell people, I'm not going to write you a ticket, but if you get a ticket further down the line, that's free game. So live to see another day. As time went by, you go through there, you're answering calls. People started seeing me, of course, and they like, oh, you a cop? How old are you? And I'm like, at the time, oh, I'm 23. What? You 23? Like, yeah, I'm 23. Talking about, man, you don't look no older than 18. A lot of people tell me that I look really young to be a cop. I get that a lot actually, but I had people looking at like, what you like I wasn't a real person or something. Like they were so surprised to see a black female, and it was like I didn't know how to feel at first, and I had to realize where we at in the profession that I'm in. So there's not too many black females here at this agency. So seeing one out there like that, it was like, oh snap, like what? Like there's other, you get what I'm saying? So that's kind of what it was for me, and people telling me they proud of me and stuff, and it was just very interesting to like see how that happened. And after so long of being on patrol, I don't know if I had hit my 2-year mark at this point or if I was almost at my 2-year mark. I got offered the corporal position. Now, when it was first presented to me, I ain't gonna lie. I recommended somebody else. And that's only because I didn't feel confident in my ability to lead. I felt like I needed more time. I felt like I wasn't a cop long enough, for me to. I feel like I was still learning. You get what I'm saying? So, how can I teach people and lead people if I don't feel like I'm at that point in my life where I can lead? But duty calls, so I took it. And when I became a corporal, I learned that I was the first black sworn female corporal. Being here in this area where I'm at, they're going to be the first black something. And like, that's the crazy part about it. I think me becoming a supervisor was probably a place where I experienced my most shifts because it was just a lot to process. I wasn't just responsible for me no more. Now I'm responsible for everybody on my shift, plus a trainee. I gotta make sure, pretty much just keeping my shift running smoothly. I had to know where everybody is at. I gotta make sure everybody reports is done and corrected before we go home. I gotta do my trainees daily observation report. I gotta train my trainee. Like, it was just so much that came with the job, and no matter how hard it was, I just had to keep going. I enjoy my job, and that's when I figured out this was my calling. This was my purpose. I'm supposed to be a first responder. And the crazy part about this whole thing is, y'all, is that I never wanted to be no fucking cop. But my thing is, once I'm set on something, I gotta accomplish this goal. And I accomplished every single thing I set out to be. I did it. I gotta step into the Bible real quick. There's a scripture that I feel like was written specifically for me. Psalm 46:5. That states, God is within her. She will not fall. He will help her at break of day. So towards the end of my last episode, I left y'all on the cliffhanger. I said where nothing can prepare you for the screams of a mother that just lost a child. So, talking about this, we're not going to get too deep. We're not going to go too far in the details. So, when the call came out, it was like, respond to so-and-so in reference to a 2-month-old not breathing. So, I was like, oh, shit, 2-month-old, what the fuck? So, it's a child. Like, we talking about a baby. Not a baby that can walk. We talking about a handheld baby. So, I hauled immortal ass. I'm tired as hell, but hearing that call, I woke right up. Like, I gotta go see what's up with this baby. And I don't know how far away from the call my coworker was. He had been on scene for maybe like 5 minutes before I got up there. So when I pulled up, the ambulance is there. I see the parents and stuff. They're hysterical. They crying. They upset. So I'm like, all right, I need to leave them for a second. Let me see what's going on with this baby. I needed to go see with my own eyes what the fuck was wrong. Because I'm still having problems processing what the fuck I just heard. So I go in the ambulance and I see him doing CPR on the baby. And when I looked, his little lips was blue. And I knew there, like, oh man, like, that's when reality hit. Like, this baby been gone for a minute. Like, in my head, I knew. But something in me was still saying, like, man, like, it don't matter. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep doing CPR. I had to step out of the truck. And I couldn't look at the ambulance. So I stopped and I waited for a second. I paused. And then I went to talk to the parents. The mom, she's standing there and said, man, I need you to calm down for a second. I always tell them, like, calm down. Just take a minute and calm down. What happened? After listening to that lady talk, just heard it was a freak accident. And it was sad. It was very sad. After hearing that, of course, I got a little bit of information I needed to get from them. And my coworker went in the house. Because I just couldn't. I could not do it. And that's the first time where I say, like, usually I'm big on being able to do things, but that right there I could not bring myself to walk in that house and see I couldn't. And I talked to them for a second. I said, "Hey y'all, let me get some out of the car real quick." Whole time I'm lying. Closed the door and I sat there for a second and I bawled my eyes out. I sat right there and I fucking cried in that yard. I think that's the first time I sat and cried right there on the scene. And I'm crying like this is my child or like this is my family. I just was asking God, like, please, God, let this baby be okay. Like, let them find a pulse. Let him be okay. It wasn't no long drawn out cry. It was just something, something real quick. Cause I had to. At the end of the day, like, I still had a job to do. I am human. I was hurt. Then I kept questioning myself, and this is when the survivor's guilt kicks in. It's like, is there anything I could have did for this child? Could I have gotten here faster? What, you know what I'm saying? What could I have done to make it to where this kid had a better chance of living? What could I have did? And it's something that's always going to live with me. I'll never be able to forget that call and what it felt like to be in the moment. I got home and I cried and I was just fucked up, man. Like, part of me wish I would have never went out there. Like, we had a lot of calls where somebody will be, not breathing or whatever, and they're able to bring them back. But that call specifically is like, he was already long gone, and there was nothing nobody could have done for him. But of course, me being me, I felt like there was more I could have done. No amount of training will prepare you for a real world situation. It's different when it's in real life. If I would have knew then what I know now, I wish that I could have been further away from that call to where it's like, man, like, by the time I got there, the ambulance was gone, so that way I didn't have to see what I saw. And don't get me wrong, had that had happened, the ambulance had been gone by the time I got there, and I was just there speaking with the parents. I feel like in that moment, hearing it would have still been bad, but I didn't have to see that child like that. So I feel like that would have been better. And there's times where we experience things like that and we might start talking about what we about to eat when we leave here or what we about to do when we get off work, things like that. And to somebody on the outside looking in, it might sound fucked up, but that's our way of coping with what the fuck we just experienced. Like, that's how motherfuckers cope. And the crazy part about it is, like, even though this happened almost 2 years ago, it still bothers me. And that's the part that I feel like nobody talks about either, is experiencing something like that and still having to take it home with you. I struggled a lot with balancing my work life and my personal life. And it's like, how can you even balance work life and personal life after experiencing a call like a 2-month-old that died? You get what I'm saying? So I struggled a lot with that, and I still struggle with that a lot now. And it's gotten better. For me, I'm the only cop in my family. So I have seen a whole lot of stuff, and my personality before I became a cop was very, outgoing, very family oriented. And then after becoming a cop, I just became isolated. And I had people telling me I was desensitized and I didn't care. I was nonchalant. I was mean. I changed. I did this. I did that. And to be honest with you, it's hard to explain something, being a cop and things like that to a person who has never had any type of traumatic experiences in their life, or somebody who has never worked in law enforcement. You got to remember, these people are on the outside looking in. They never going to understand what it's like to be in your shoes. But a lot of people on the outside looking in, they want a Monday night quarterback. Oh, you could have did this. You could have did that. You're not in this situation, so you can't tell me what I should have did. It's more to being a cop than just writing tickets and, locking people up. It's way more to it than that. We gotta be a little bit more graceful and a little bit understanding. It's more than what you see on TV. It's more than what the news shows you. And I feel like the more this podcast starts going through and people start really understanding and getting a feel of what I'm saying, I think it would change the narrative on what they think about cops today. So I just want everybody to understand and realize all cops are not bad cops. We are still human when our uniform comes off. And at some point throughout this podcast, we will get into the nitty-gritty. But for right now, we're going to end that here. Before we end this episode, I just want to say this. Don't forget that we still human. Don't forget we are still human. If you see us out and about and our uniform look baggy, we look tired, we look burnt out, we look worn out, we look stressed out, before you form an opinion, before you start to judge us, just think about the day we might have had. If you or someone you know watched this video and y'all could relate to anything I said, but you're just not ready to talk about it yet, that's okay. There's resources available for you. You are seen, you are heard, and you matter, and you deserve to be here. Thank you for tuning in, and this is The Real Shift After the Call.